I hope you're happy. Both of you. You've ruined my very first slumber party. The makeovers, the s'mores, the truth or dare, the pillow fight. I mean, is there anything else that could possibly go wrong? Twilight stared up at the massive silver statue, her eyes wide in horror, then turned to Goldenblood and pointed a hoof back at the strange amalgam creature. This is Project Chimera. I know, drawled the nasal, sarcastic voice. But I suppose Project Discord or Project Draconius would have been too much of a giveaway. Twilight's eyes went flat as she looked over the shoulder of the statue, then back at Goldenblood. What is Discord doing here, Goldenblood? How could you put these two in charge of this? Luna will be informed. She began, then she was cut off by the low snicker of the statue. Oh, I wish I could see your face right now, Twilight. I really do. Discord cackled. Well, actually, I really wish I was out of this damned silvery suit Goldie dressed me up in. Oh, the fun we could have, Twilight. Fun! He hissed the word long and low. Luna knows. Celestia knows. Goldenblood slowly trotted up towards the statue, and now Twilight didn't look certain of anything anymore. When the war began, Celestia knew that Discord would be the biggest threat to Equestria. If 3 squabbling fillies could break him loose, even though that was long after the sealing spell was cast and after the elements changed hooves. How long would the magic hold when ponies and zebras were killing each other on such unprecedented scales? He gazed at the statue with a long, baleful look as he added, Worse, Zebra lore knows Discord of the trickster of the stars. It does? Twilight asked in shock. I try not to boast, Discord said in feigned modesty. I trotted closer to the statue, getting out of her way, and was suddenly seized by an incredible vertigo that ended abruptly with a sharp pain in my tail. I felt distinctly nauseous, but then, moments later, it passed. Okay, I didn't know what that just was, but no trying to move. My poor tail was one of the few original bits of me that I had left. Indeed. Ponies aren't the only people he's manipulated, tormented, and hurt. Goldenblood replied evenly. Spirits of chaos like him are well known in their courture. And all of them, Discord is the strongest and the worst. Thank you for the compliment, Discord interjected with mock sincerity. But really, I must admit that I'm nothing compared to you, Goldie, when it comes to manipulating, tormenting, and hurting others. How's Fluttershy? Goldenblood's face didn't change a bit, but his horn flared, pushing a button and turning a dial. The metal began to hum, and the hum became a scream. Discord's manic laughter grew into a manic scream as well. Goldenblood, stop! Twilight shouted, her horn lighting and turning the dial back the other way. Discord panted, chuckling a low, slow, pained laugh. Too soon? Goldenblood glared up at the statue as calm reasserted itself. Even before Luna assumed the throne, Zebra agents attempted to capture Discord. And what you and Celestia did to him, every pony fairly assumed he'd focus most on us if he got free. And that made the zebras think that they might be able to use him as a bargaining chip or deterrent. Celestia's original solution was to have him buried here. There's a special ore beneath Hoovington that counteracts his powers. But as the war escalated, we knew their enchantment wouldn't last even here. His size had already increased 50% in just over 10 years, and the petrification spell was in doubt. Well, when you have a steady diet of war, chaos, and uncertainty with zero exercise, you tend to pack on the pounds, Discord murmured. It's hard to believe our efforts were so weak, Twilight murmured, hanging her head a little. What he did to my friends, and bringing them back together. Now it looks like it was for nothing. Goldenblood stared at her for an inscrutable seconds, then looked back at the statue. It's not your fault, Twilight. Celestia had many centuries of relative peace after Discord was trapped. The closest he came to release was when Nightmare Moons bid for power, and that still wasn't enough. Had things remained as they were, he likely would have stayed in stone for at least another millennium. But this war, so much confusion and hatred, widespread violence and turbulent emotion, and for nearly 20 straight years now. It was the perfect diet to set Discord loose. And, given how exciting everything is, can you blame me for wanting to get involved? I was so looking forward to seeing how much more interesting I could make things for everybody. Being a statue is so boring, you know. Oh wait, you don't. You have no idea what it's like, do you? Discord said with a sound of a sneer. And they call me a villain. We had come to contain him quickly. Fortunately, Luna recommended utilizing the ore that we were excavating in the reconstruction, and it had indeed proven quite useful in keeping him trapped. Goldenblood explained, not taking his eyes off the statue. Funny how she suggested it, Discord said in a faintly hurt tone. And I'd always had a soft spot for little Luna. I never appreciated how much potential she had. How does this metal work? Why can't Discord just teleport out of it, or turn it into cheese? Twilight asked with a frown. This metal, Goldenblood replied, unique in all our existence, resonates at only one magical frequency. Not effectively one, like some of the experimental materials we developed, but truly only one pure single tone. It fully ignores all other magical effects. Discord, being a creature of chaos, cannot focus his power to such a narrow degree. And I'm not stupid enough to try and play that note. Discord murmured. My ears perked. There was a definite undercurrent of deadly seriousness in his voice. Twilight sighed softly. All right, I can understand containing him, but how did you go from that to pulling flux out of him? Goldenblood smiled with that humorless little smirk. Do you really want to know, Twilight? She glared back at him, and for a moment their eyes remained locked. Then Goldenblood gave a little shrug. It was my idea. The raw magical essence of Discord was simply sitting there, unused, gaining power all the time, and the potential for his magic was mind-boggling. Once the research was beginning, it actually didn't take that long for a method to drain it in a usable form to be developed. Goldenblood pointed at the hoses with his hoof. Needles were drilled into the stone and hooked up to extraction lines to create base flux. The metal is resonated, liquefying potions with his essence. You drilled into him, Twilight gasped. You drilled holes into him? Don't worry, it's not as painful as it sounds, Discord said in a sarcastic murmur. Yes, Goldenblood said without taking his eyes off of her. And we suck out his magical essence, mix it with gems to stabilize it, and ship it out all across Equestria. A portion of the sales goes to covering the OIA budget, which is substantial. The rest is given to the ministries. Twilight shook her head. Torturing him? Sucking his essence out? And you sell it to fund all this? I thought your funding was from the kingdom, she said, looking startled and disgusted. Not exclusively. The OIA goes through a lot of bits in a year, he said as he gestured down at the production room with a hoof. Even with our secondary and tertiary sources of income, projects like Chimera are horrifyingly expensive. And it benefits us to keep some expenditures off the books. How much money could you possibly need? Twilight asked with a scowl. Our budgets exceed those of the MAS and MOA combined, he countered, and that set her back a step. Possibly even the MOP as well. I had no idea just how much money that was, but I thought of all the money Golden Blood had bilked up from the nobility for Project Redoubt, add in the proceeds from side projects like selling Flux, and... Actually, I still had no idea just how much money that was. I wasn't sure I could count that high. Twilight's jaw dropped as Golden Blood said softly, "Of course, I'm not the director anymore. That information is strictly hush-hush." "I'll have to remember that next time I approach Luna for a budget increase," Twilight murmured as she stared up at the statue. "So why in Equestria did you put these two in charge of him?" "To be fair, this is an OIA facility. They were simply the face company, selling and distributing Flux at a sizable number of spin-off products. But really, can you think of any pony better? The pair are natural, functious, entrepreneurial in the extreme, and unscrupulously but cowardly. They embezzle whenever they can, and I let them get away with a certain amount to keep them working. Their utter lack of political ambition combined with their goal to exceed makes them diligent in their complicity. After all, they delayed you for more than a year while you were trying to get your alicorn potion to work." "They weren't the only ones," Twilight said, frowning again. "Remember, your stonewalling cost you your position." But Golden Blood didn't look upset about that. If anything, he looked sad and so very tired. "Well, we do what we must for love." "Excuse me? Doth mine ears deceive me, or did thou say alicorn potion?" Discord chuckled. "Oh, Twilight, you're making an alicorn potion? As in, a potion to create alicorns?" The silver statue began to laugh. "Oh, I just bet the royal duo absolutely love that idea." Twilight scowled up at him. "I have the full support of Luna." If anything, this made Discord laugh even harder. "Shut up!" Golden Blood twisted the knob once more, and the statue began to hum. The higher the laughter rose, it rose higher, and became a scream of agony. Then the knob was turned back down. "Oh, I do so love all you little ponies. Even when I'm sure that you're all going to be so boring, you find ways to surprise me," Discord said with another quiet chuckle. Golden Blood looked away, sitting on the edge of that narrow bridge. "Well, I do hope that works out for you, Twilight. A step up in the world." "It will make us win a war," Twilight answered. But I could see she was shaken. She looked at all those hoses snaking out of the silver statue. "I'll talk with Luna. She'll put a stop to this. She can't know exactly what's been done to you, Discord. You're imprisoned. There's no point in torture as well." "Oh, Twilight, you always were such a good little pony. Always surrounded by loyalty, honesty, kindness, generosity, and laughter," Discord said in a voice that was almost pitying. "What are you surrounded by now?" Twilight stepped off the bridge, back onto a catwalk, and a moment later Golden Blood's horn flashed and the bridge slowly rose back up. A moment later, the central pillar's doors swung back into place and sealed with a faintless hiss. The purple unicorn adjusted her glasses she wore as her magic brushed her mane back into place, but her face was troubled and haunted. "So, that's why my potion wasn't working. Why it kept going unstable. It'll likely need that magical resonance to stabilize it. Possibly a pinch of that metal as well." "Possibly," Golden Blood replied. He turned and started to trot away, but then he paused. "So, you mean to continue?"